This is Bree Irish with KORC, News, Music, and Civics. The Oregon State Legislature has officially finished their short session for 2026. 2 whole days earlier than they're constitutionally scheduled for, I might add. But it was still a mad dash to get everything accomplished. The legislature was successful in passing bills to support and protect immigrants, like Corvallis' own Sarah Finger McDonald getting her bill to mandate notification of ICE presence on school campus. The state successfully passed SB 1507, which disconnects Oregon's tax system from the federal system. This means that anytime there are changes on the federal level's tax code, they aren't automatically accepted by the state of Oregon. That bill is awaiting signature from Governor Kotek. Oh, and that pesky funding for the Oregon Department of Transportation? The state is proposing leaving more than 130 jobs vacant, spending less on services, and moving around money that hasn't been obligated to a specific purpose yet. These moves are estimated to cover the remaining $128 million deficit in the general fund and the $289 million deficit at ODOT. Legislators also managed to get the referendum on the gas tax scheduled. They needed to pass that legislation that would officially put the gas tax vote on the ballot for May 19th. The legislature appeared to be in no hurry to accomplish it, and finally passed the legislation that was supposed to be passed by February 25th. While the legislation has been passed, there has been more than one lawsuit filed that could prevent the referendum from landing on your May 19th ballot. The state legislature is surely happy to get a move on from this particularly tough session that was rough on just about everybody there. Data center legislation was also a huge flashpoint at the legislature. SB 1586, that would have converted 1,700 acres of precious farmland into industrial land for data center development, is officially dead. Outcry came from across the state in opposition to it. Governor Kotek's economic development bill that would have authorized nearly $500 million in tax breaks for a program used primarily by data centers passed with the only objection from our neck of the woods being Senator Sarah Gelser-Bluen. Representative Sarah Finger McDonald voted to support this bill. The bill ultimately contained a last-minute amendment containing a 1-year moratorium on data center eligibility for one major property tax break. A nice amendment, but this bill extends those tax breaks for up to 10 years. HB 4018, a hot-button campaign finance bill, passed through the legislature. This bill was especially dramatic. Lawmakers originally passed campaign finance reform in 2024. They passed it knowing that it was an imperfect bill that absolutely needed to be fixed. Well, this session, they finally passed the fix, though many feel that it was a paltry fix at best. While the bill passed out of the legislature, Governor Kotek said she is still considering whether she will sign the bill into law at all. The legislature also passed a bill allocating $365 million for renovations at the Moda Center, something many Oregonians were not pleased to see. The legislation would provide funding for renovations to make it fit for a modern NBA team. Opponents of the bill called it unwise to pass funding for a Moda Center without first negotiating a lease. Folks also rose in opposition to the state paying 60% of construction costs for an NBA team that is owned by a billionaire. Democrats also voted to ban law enforcement officers from wearing facial coverings and require them to have identification on their uniforms. It still remains unclear, though, whether Oregon can enforce these requirements on federal agents, which the bill was aimed at. One of the very last pieces of legislation passed by the legislature is another controversial bill, HB 4153, which would allow permanent stores as large as 10,000 square feet on farmland. Many voiced concerns that this bill would open the door for big box stores and corporate takeovers into protected farmland. This bill, like I said, was ultimately passed. Representative Sarah Finger McDonald voted against this bill. Senator Sarah Gelser-Bluen voted in support of this legislation. That's just some of the drama that went on in the last 35 days. There was no shortage of work to be done, and the legislature now looks to their next long session in 2027. This is Bree Irish with KORC, News, Music, and Civics.